I have led a toothless life. A toothless life. I have never bitten into anything. I was waiting. I was reserving myself for later on, and I have just noticed that my teeth have gone. Now, this is from Jean-Paul Sartre, the quote. But what I want to talk about is this notion of that we all have and people always have had of waiting for a time that will never come. And you see this in people that always wanted to start a business, but they always postponed it. And it was after university, and then after you get married, and then after you get the house, and da da da, and then you're dead. Or you're too old and you don't have energy. And it's the old person that always said, I'm going to travel the world and I'm going to do this and that. And then it never happened because then you got old and you got injured and things got in the way, and now you're just old and you don't want it anymore. And life has passed you by, and as the quote says, your teeth have now gone and you want a bite, and now you saved yourself for this moment to take a bite finally, but you realize that you can't anymore, and that the time to take a bite, certain types of bites, was before. And I do believe we often trick ourselves with these notions that, and of course, there's nuance to this as everything, but we trick ourselves into thinking that the perfect moment will arrive. And because we believe this perfect moment exists, we postpone. And we believe that postponing it will essentially, for some reason, make this moment arrive. A moment when all the stars align, when you're confronted with it and you'd be like, now it's the perfect time. My finances are in order. I'm fit. There's no diseases. Everything is packed to go. Now I can do it. But such moments, I don't believe, really exist. The stars aligning, so to speak, happens when the individual decides that it is time to go. In a lot of ways, we fail to realize that this moment is not something that happens to us. It is something that we make happen. And for how obvious this may seem, for how much of a cliche I may be saying here and talking about here, well, I think it deserves to be said, because how often all of us, you, me, but I would like to believe not people that are more conscious about it, that just you delay and you distract yourself, and we postpone, thinking again that this perfect moment will arrive. And I think it ought to make us ponder at the very least about what is this moment we're postponing? What is the important thing we're postponing? And what exactly are we postponing it until? Or until when are we postponing it? Because if we really are clear with ourselves and we are to sit and be like, okay, what would be the conditions that have to be met for me to do it? And a lot of times we're going to realize we don't even know. We thought vaguely about certain conditions, certain things, but these were not clear, these were not well defined, these were just excuses. These were just, again, mental exercises in not doing what is uncomfortable. Again, for how cliche that may sound. And I believe if we do sit down and we write or we think, whatever, we sit with these things and we consider what exactly or when exactly is that moment going to be, what we'll find is that it is either now, that moment, and the moment has already arrived and we're waiting for it to pass us by, or it is not that far. Maybe you have to finish high school or college, or fair enough. Maybe there's some things you have to get in order, but they're uncomfortably close usually. And they're close enough that if you think about it, you're going to get a bit of that knot in your stomach, because you're going to realize that the time to do is either now or about to arrive. And you may postpone, you may continue delaying, whatnot, but then again, I ask you, will you wait until your teeth fall off, or will you take the bite?